go. It's time to heal your relationship with food. This is episode 6 of Journey Beyond the Scale. So let's go. You know that one friend who says, I am being so good today, right? And this is right before they eat a salad that looks like sadness in a bowl. Yeah, that used to be me. I was the queen of restriction, guilt, and Googling how many calories are in air. But one day I realized something shocking. Food wasn't my enemy. My thoughts were, today we are talking about how I stopped counting, started tasting, and finally made peace with my plate. Welcome back to Journey Beyond the Scale. I am your humble host, your smiling doctor, Dr. Joice. And today we are digging into one of the most personal, hilarious part of food journey. Because let's be real, we've all had that moment when you eat a cookie and immediately calculate how many squats it would take to erase it. Spoiler alert, that math never ends well. Like they say, the math and mathing. Okay, so let's talk about how I went from obsessing over kale to enjoy cupcakes without apology. Yes, kale is good for you, but sometimes that cupcake hits, okay? It just helps with those cravings. When food was my enemy, for years, food and I were in a toxic relationship. I'd restrict, binge, feel guilty, repeat the process all over again. We were basically on again, off again, like that couple everyone tired of hearing about. I labeled food like people. Carbs were villains. Salads were saints. Chocolate were guilty pleasures. Emphasis on the guilty. And one night, after a long day of being good, I found myself standing in front of the refrigerator, spoon in hand, having a deep conversation with a tub of ice cream. The ice cream won. And honestly, that moment taught me something very, very important. The more I tried to control food, the more it controlled me. And I had a turning point, guys. I had a turning point, but my turning point didn't come from a diet plan, not a diet plan. It came from a pizza, a glorious, cheesy, unapologetic pizza. I remember thinking, I'll have one slice. 3 slices later, I realized I was still alive. No thunder. No punishment, no instant weight gain, just satisfaction. You gotta satisfy the body somehow now. The body gotta be satisfied. As if you don't cave to those cravings sometimes, and I'm not saying it's all the time, you have to give in at one point, and giving in doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean you don't have willpower. I don't know how somehow people see when people fail in diet and every other stuff, they think, their willpower is not sufficient for them to go through that. It's not about willpower. That hit me, maybe it's not about earning food or making up for food. Maybe it's about enjoying food. And I do enjoy my food, guys. Like we've been talking in other episodes, I love my rice. Okay. So let's talk about culture. Food culture and love. In my culture, food is not just fuel, it's love. We gather with friends and families and we eat good food. Roasted fish, soya, jollof rice, all those good food. We hang around friends and family and we eat and enjoy good food. It's hospitality. It's the way your auntie shows affection when she says, eat, you've lost weight, and then proceed to feed you like she's training you for the Olympics. And for a long time, I thought enjoying these moments meant I was failing. And, I thought I was failing in my health goals. But reconnecting with my roots taught me the food can be sacred, a celebration of connection, not a source of shame. I used to really feel ashamed eating among people, especially when I was really big, because I feared that I was going to be judged by those around me. But now, boy, I sit at the table, eat with gratitude, and remain myself, saying yes to my auntie's food. I was honoring that. It's honoring love. Let's talk about confidence in and out of the kitchen. This is how we heal our relationship with food. Because in my obese era, when I'm bored, when I'm stressed, when I'm anxious, guess where I went to? The kitchen to look for food. And sometimes I will sneak food into the bedroom. I will eat and eat and eat. And that gave me comfort at that moment. But later on, oh my God, I would judge myself of why was I eating this food in the first place. But here is the fun side effect of making peace with food. You start feeling more confident everywhere. When I stopped treating meals like moral tests, that confidence spilled over into how I carried myself. Even in the bedroom, I did not have any self-confidence. None, zero, nil, nada, nothing. But as time goes on, when I was healing myself and healing my relationship with food, you start gaining that confidence on how you see yourself amongst people, how you see yourself with your loved one, and even in the bedroom. Because when you stop punishing your body, you start enjoying it in every single way. Food became pleasure again, not just survivor. And yes, that's confidence translated beautifully into intimacy, laughter, comfort, no more worrying about angles. Turns out loving your body at the table makes it a lot easier to love your body under the covers. Boy, I hated my body under the cover. Yes, I've lost a massive amount of weight. I went through skin removal surgery. Before then, I'm telling you, I just don't want to see myself in the mirror because you have all this saggy skin. Hey, listen, I still got my soggy arm. My daughter keeps telling me, Mom, you need to go take it off. Look at that soggy arm. But it comes a time when you feel confident. I lift my hand and I feel confident and I see my scars. And they are a testament of what I have been through. How do you make peace with food? Here are some small steps that help me rebuild trust with food. I used to go to the store. I would look at the labels, how many calories, the protein level. Trust me, protein is very important when you're losing weight. The sugar, but most of all, the calories. We looked at the calories and we ignored the sugar content, the protein, and all the additives. But I stopped looking at the labels. There is no such thing as a good food or bad food, only balance and choice. Slow down, taste your food, chew like you have nowhere to go. And that's why I say romance your food to ditch the guilt. One cookie doesn't undo everything, except your ability to enjoy life. And practice gratitude. I keep telling myself, be kind to yourself. Tell yourself you've done a good job. You've come a long way. And that's how you practice gratitude and telling your body you are doing a good job. Give permission to yourself. Give yourself full permission to eat what you love. And notice how much easier moderating becomes. And let's reflect, let's do some reflection. Healing your relationship with food is not about rules. It's about relief. You don't have to earn your next meal or atone for your last one. When I started approaching food with honor and compassion, everything shifted. I laughed more. I'm always laughing. That's why I call myself the smiling doctor. I lived more. So tonight, if you are making dinner, add extra cheese, sit down and taste it because joy is a nutrient too. You can heal your relationship with food. Praise yourself, give yourself grace, and you will heal that relationship with food. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Journey Beyond the Skill. If this episode made you smile or made you hungry, share it with a friend who is learning to make peace with food too. Comment on our YouTube channel, download it, send it to a friend, share, like, and that's how other people are going to see us. It's going to help other people see us out there with you downloading, subscribing, liking, commenting. So next week we'll talk about rebuilding self-trust and confidence. Yeah, self-trust and confidence. I like that topic. That kind that shows up everywhere from the gym to date night. Until then, remember, guys, you are not your diet. You are deliciously human. Be kind to yourself. Bye. This podcast shares my personal experiences and insights for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and it should not replace guidance from your healthcare provider or qualified professional.
Journey beyond the scale, I find my way.